What's up, everybody? My name is Uber Brent, and welcome to Indie Connect, your one stop for indie Let's Plays and features. Today, I want to talk a little bit about the upcoming PlayStation conference on September 7th and the impact that it's going to have on indie titles going forward in the PlayStation ecosystem. So, for those of you who may not be fully aware, September 7th there will be a PlayStation conference. Now, what's going to be at this PlayStation conference, you may be asking, and officially, we don't know. Sony has not said a single word about anything that's going to be at this conference. Courtesy of some leaks, courtesy of some investigative journalism, we have a pretty good idea of what we're actually going to be seeing at this conference. So let's just kind of dig into that a little bit first. So this conference predominantly is going to be about PlayStation Neo. Now, PlayStation Neo is Sony's big Cadillac 4K console that's coming out. This is the one that's going to be a step up, but not a new console, and that's interesting, and this is where the indies are going to really come into it, but we'll get into that in a moment. I suspect that we're going to be seeing a date, we're going to be seeing a price, we're going to be seeing a look, we're going to be hearing about specs, we're going to get some really hard details about what PlayStation Neo actually is, and that is going to be really significant going forward. Now, we also know that there's going to be the announcement and unveiling of a PlayStation 4 Slim. We know this because it's literally already got an unboxing video. A couple weeks ago, we had an auction site put up a PlayStation 4 Slim model for auction in Europe. And everybody says, well, there's no PlayStation 4 Slim. Well, now with the announcement of a PlayStation conference, yes, there is. So we have an unboxing video. Eurogamer actually went to the person's house who purchased this console and have powered it up. And it is as real as can be. So it's a pretty safe bet that you'll be seeing PlayStation 4 Slim as kind of I don't want to say a lower grade PlayStation. Like, it's still going to give you the same experience you get with PlayStation Neo, just not that 4K, maybe not quite as smooth or buttery as you get with other games. We also have rumors and whispers, and this one's there's a little bit of a rabbit hole we have to go down for this one. The word has been going around of a PlayStation 4 Trinity. Now, PlayStation 4 Trinity, if you really think about it, makes a little bit of sense. You've got PlayStation Morpheus, which was the code name for the VR headset, which is a huge pillar of what Sony and PlayStation are doing in the future. Then you've got the PlayStation Neo, which is the name of their mainline big PlayStation 4. Now you've got rumors and whispers of PlayStation Trinity, and this has come up several times in FCC documents. Now, these FCC documents have leaked, of course, because this is the internet. This is what happens. And if everything is as we assume, according to these documents, this is going to be a handheld. That's right. After the Vita, it is going to be a handheld, which is great. Like, a lot of people really hated on PlayStation Vita, and there was not great AAA first-party support from Sony, admittedly. But for somebody like me, who's such a huge fan of indie games, PlayStation Vita was a haven for indie games. So lots of great opportunities for new titles, new experiences, and if it's done right and done in the same way that Sony has focused on PlayStation 4 being for the gamers, being about games. If the PlayStation Vita successor is going to be like that, PlayStation Trinity, this is an awesome opportunity to get a functional, powerful second option or mobile option for PlayStation games and the ecosystem. So these are all the things that we expect to be seeing at PlayStation's conference, and the real question comes down to, what does this have to do with indie games? Now, this is going to be significant if it's done the way that I think Sony and Microsoft both have been positioning themselves lately. And PlayStation 4 Neo not being a true next console, but just being a iteration on the previous console, tells me that what they're going for is more of like an iPhone sort of lifespan and platform by not just doing one new console generation, then a new console generation where all of those games and all of those experiences that you had on your PlayStation 3 are gone. Everything that you had, everything that you wanted, all the things that you still want to play. Now, granted, to an extent, you have to have that with new console generations, because back when it was the PlayStation 1 to 2, 2 to 3, you had these huge technology jumps that made the games not possible on previous consoles. But with PlayStation 4 and their PC architecture that they use, this is a chance for them to really build an ecosystem where this network persists. Your purchases persist. Your digital games, your indie games, your physical discs persist from one generation to the next. And that is ultimately a great thing, because video games have an awful track record with preservation. Video games are so much about what's new, what's happening right now, that so often they lose what has already happened, what great games are out there. And there are some games that, you know, maybe it's not the worst thing to have lost, but let's say 10 years from now, you want to play Journey with your kids, and Journey is such an emotional experience, and you want people to experience that going forward, and you can't expect every time a PlayStation 5, a PlayStation 6, a PlayStation 7. This game isn't going to be remade over and over and over to play with these new consoles. So a unified PlayStation network or Xbox Live network, which is what Microsoft seems to be doing with Scorpio, is a huge thing for games, especially for indie games. Steam has been doing this for years and years, where you download a game on Steam, Half-Life 2, Portal, you know, all of the games from the Orange Box. You bought these games in 2006, and you go on Steam right now, you play that game because it's compatible and it still works because of Steam. This is what console games have always lacked, is a sense of history. And by making a unified network that's going to move across all of these platforms is just a great opportunity for us to continue to experience these games. And that is why I am so excited about PlayStation Neo and this conference, because Sony has the opportunity to really plant a flag and say, this is how our industry's going from here on out. Yes, every 2 to 3 years you are going to get a new console, something that can keep up with the new times, keep up with new games, build new experiences. But instead of leaving all of your other consoles in the dust, by keeping it iterative, you can have a system that works much like iPhones, where you buy the iPhone 6, then the 6S comes out. Guess what? Your 6 and your 5 all still do the same things as the 6S. They may not look as pretty, they may not run quite as fast, but you can still use it, and you don't exclude people for not having the newest, hottest thing right then and there. And ultimately, that's what's important for the broader audience. I think this is just a great opportunity for games, and I want to detach myself. I know I'm wearing the Sony shirt, but detach myself from Sony, but just games. We need a place where games don't go to die, where games can live forever on a network, where we can go back and play something that was made back in 2016, 30 years from now. We need a place where we will be able to have those experiences and chronicle what has made gaming such a huge medium up till this point. And so that's what makes this conference so incredibly important for Sony and gaming in general, and hopefully Sony sees that as well. But what do you think? Do you think Sony's ready to make that commitment and start that push to bring gaming to where it needs to be? Leave your thoughts in the comment below, and of course, like, share, and subscribe to get new updates on all of the future videos. And as always, keep it locked right here to Indie Connect.